Hey everybody, Dr. Keith here. Hope you're having an amazing day. What is chiropractic? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And that's obviously important for many reasons to understand. If you're already coming into the office, you should have a general understanding of why you're coming into the office, what we're doing. And we're trying to always improve ways to communicate to you what we're doing, why we're doing it, and why you're there, why you should be there, why you should be referring your friends in to get checked. And so today that's what we're going to talk about. A lot of people think, if you ask the public, what is chiropractic, they're going to start talking about, they might say back pain or neck pain or something to do with that. Most people kind of think of it as kind of a subsidy of medicine and kind of looking at it in the same way, when in fact it's actually quite different. And while, yes, we do see a lot of people that come in with the headaches and back pain and, all kinds of other different musculoskeletal things, we're not focusing on the musculoskeletal condition. Yes, we do a lot with the spine itself, and a lot of people think of that as a musculoskeletal type of thing, but we're actually dealing mostly with the nervous system and how that's functioning in your body. And so what we're going to kind of talk about, we're not going to get really detailed or anything, but we're going to go over a couple things. And so when we're checking you, we're checking to see if your nervous system is functioning optimally. And you can think about that in many different ways, and we do explain it differently, trying to figure out what's gonna make most sense to you. And so sometimes we'll talk about the brain-body connection, because we want to make sure all the information from your brain is communicating with your body, and your body is able to communicate what it senses from its environment, from an internal, external environment back into your brain. And we want that cycle to always kind of be occurring. And so what we're checking for is subluxation. And when there's subluxation, we're just going to talk about it tonight in the sense of interference in the nervous system. And so we're checking to see if your spine's subluxated, because we know it's not going to be functioning as well. And we'll stay on the concept of kind of that brain-body connection here for a little bit, because we know when the joint is subluxated, it's not going to be sending enough signals to the brain. And it may also be impairing signals from the brain down into the body. This is well documented, and this is one of the main reasons why you don't need to have a symptom to come into the office. It's just like you don't need a symptom to go to the dentist. You should be going regularly to make sure that your teeth are clean and your gums are clean, and that everything's functioning well. And the same with your spine. You want to make sure that it's functioning optimally for your entire life. And we know that that's impossible these days if you're not getting checked by a chiropractor. And the fact of the matter is, you don't need chiropractic, but the way that you're living your life, you do need it. Because I know that you're sitting a lot. I know that you're not eating optimally all the time. I know that you're emotionally stressed out a lot. I know that there's just injuries that impact your body throughout your life. And this can start at birth, and that's a lot of times why we see young children is from problems from birth. There might be too much pressure put on the head when it's even in a vaginal birth, but especially in a cesarean section. Both can very easily apply too much pressure because they're trying to get the baby out very quickly, and it can very easy. There's no muscle tension in that baby at that point. So just even a little too much is going to apply way more pressure than that baby can handle. And so we check and see if anything's wrong, because you don't want to start off life with something as simple as just you can get checked, but it can cause so many problems, sometimes right away, and that's a lot of times why infants have a lot of colicky symptoms and all kinds of other breastfeeding problems. But even long-term, other things that may develop later in life. So that's one of the main things we're looking at, is to make sure that brain-body connection is always working optimally. And so things that cause subluxation, we categorize them as 3 different things. So we call them physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. And as I kind of just alluded, we're all dealing with these. And so that's why it's important to routinely get checked throughout your life. Certainly, there may be times where you need to be adjusted a lot in a given period of time. then there may be times where you don't need to be adjusted that often. The goal isn't to come into our office and get adjusted every day. The goal is to be functioning optimally so you don't need to be adjusted. And so that's kind of one of the misconceptions people talk about, both of them, is that, once you go to a chiropractor, you always have to keep going. Well, that's true, because just like you have to go to once you start going to a dentist, they're never going to tell you never to come back. It just depends on the problem. If there's a problem that needs a lot of work done, then you're going to have to come back a lot. If it's a problem that just, hey, maybe let's check in a future date, see how everything's going, then you're just going to come back at that future date. So it just kind of depends on the problem. So it's kind of a weird thing. Of course, you're going to have to come back at some point. And some people need to come back a lot. It just depends. If you have a problem that needs a lot of work, I can only do so much. You sometimes need a lot of care. If you've done a lot of things wrong in your life, then you're going to need a lot of care. So, for instance, one of the problems we're seeing even sooner and sooner is a lot of postural issues with kids. They're doing a lot of computer work, a lot of work on their phones, on their tablets or iPads, and so they're really hunched over all the time. And we're seeing kids with tremendous forward head carriage, with all kinds of other postural issues, and it distorts all the joints. And it's a horrible time to do that, especially because obviously that's when those bones are really developing. When you're growing throughout your life, it's going to mold into the position that you're sitting in most of the time. So that's why it's really important that we get these kids in and checked, and also, when they're at home, that they're not hunched over all the time. It's just another reason why it's really important for your kids to get checked routinely. And then obviously most people come, middle age into a chiropractor for the first time, and that's way too late. Most people have so much damage by then, they do need to come a lot at first. There's no way to avoid it. We give you all kinds of other things to do at home. You're going to have some stretching to do. You're going to have some simple range of motion exercises to kind of help get those things back going. But you're most likely, if you have a bad problem, are going to have to come in pretty regularly. Sometimes we do get middle-aged individuals in that their spine is actually functioning pretty well. But it's not as common because they're not getting checked. Imagine if you didn't brush your teeth, floss your teeth, or did anything healthy with your teeth until you were 40 years old, and you went to the dentist. You're probably going to have pretty messed up teeth. And it's the same with your spine. If you're not taking care of your spine, you're probably going to have a lot of problems with it. And so this is where chiropractic is. We help the nervous system function better. When your spine's functioning better, your nervous system is going to be functioning better. You're going to be able to interact with your environment better. You're going to see all kinds of symptoms may go away. And this is where we focus on all kinds of things. We may, when we talk to you about, are you eating healthy? Are you moving regularly? Are you having a balanced thought process? These things are all requirements for your body, just like an optimally functioning nervous system is. And so there are many requirements for your body, and when you start to meet them, that's when symptoms can go away. That's why you hear all different kinds of things. Oh, this person did a diet, and they had all these miraculous things, but then this other person did, and oh, they didn't have that. Those things didn't go away. Well, maybe they were actually already meeting those requirements, and so the diet really wasn't much of a change for them. That could be an example. But there's all kinds of other reasons. No matter what, there's certain requirements that you need to do on a daily basis. One of them is having an optimally functioning nervous system, and that's why you need to consistently see a chiropractor. And like I said, that's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different at different points of your life, and it's going to go up and down. We get a lot of people on what we call maintenance care. A lot of times they can come in about once a month, but then even those people that have come in once a month, every once in a while, they may have a lot of stress in their life. They may have a period of time where they're sitting a lot. They may have an accident or an injury. And so at that point, they're going to start to come more. But it's great that they've been having that maintenance care, because we know that their spine is functioning better than if they didn't have that. So it's really important to kind of maintain this throughout your life. Because remember, we're checking subluxation. And then subluxation is caused by physical, chemical, emotional stressors, which we're all dealing with on a day-by-day basis. And our bodies are really smart, and they're able to handle a lot, but there's a limit to everything. So with chiropractic, we allow you to function optimally, and that's why we can help your entire family live a healthier life. If you guys have any questions about any of this, feel free to contact me. You can comment below, call the office email. We're always happy to answer questions. I'm Dr. Keith. Have an amazing day.